Because if that was actually one of the old space monsters, what are the other monsters?
Yep.
Although, if the topless are that way because they've been ingesting the space monster and these space monsters are trying to kill the other one, then they'd be going after the topless and the whole Foundation specifically because they've got that genetic material in them.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Justin, and we are here for the final 3 episodes of Gunbuster 2 Diebuster. Of course, it's just one of the episodes, but letting you know that we're recording these 3 back to back.
Back to back to back.
So there'll be no time to digest anything. So if Justin starts confused, I'm assuming he'll end confused.
It's possible that I don't end confused, but it'll have to give me an explanation of what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you could have an epiphany in the middle of somewhere and just figure it out. It's possible.
True.
Um,
So I believe we were in a base built either in or around Jupiter.
is
It
that all you
involved
got? Okay.
something about it involved something about snow, and we woke up one of the new Buster machines.
The other girl that has a crush on the main guy is with our
Yes.
main character, or I guess one of our 2 main characters, the girl that
Yep.
possibly is a robot, um, and is trying to. Oh God, now I don't remember what she was doing down there. But they encounter a bunch of kids who want snow, and they ask her for snow because she's a topless. Um, they're also competing to see who can possibly wake up this new gunbuster machine.
Yep.
Um, and that is, oh God, I had this all in my head just before we started. And then we keep going back into her flashback memories of why she doesn't like the topless, which has to do with the fact that they couldn't save her brother, who made her this jewelry that turns out not to be jewelry, but stuff that she can put on a snowman, because it was snowing outside his hospital room the whole time, which ties back into the
Yep.
kids that wanted snow. But also, they've got to stop this swarm of space monsters that apparently does like a circle around the solar system every year, and it's about time for them to come back. So they've set up this giant net, and they are going to not capture them, they're going to destroy them in this net. And things go wrong. Our alternate girl uh, wakes up the gunbuster, gets super powered because of her memories of her dead brother, and freezes the swarm of monsters just outside the colony before they would have broken in or whatever they do. Because these are different monsters from last time, so we don't actually know what they're up to.
They would have swarmed.
Otherwise, yeah, that was basically last episode. And then there was the science episode thing, which I realized I was super confused about, and when I went and rewatched it, I don't even remember why I rewatched. Probably when I was editing. I probably rewatched
Yep.
it while I was editing. And they mentioned that Topless had the ability to defy or stop entropy, which I think is a pretty big thing. I mean, it's a pretty big thing if you think about Gurren Lagann, but you don't have that conceit just yet. So I think it's funny that they bring it up here in a show that's not actually connected to it, and I don't know how they're going to apply it to this show or to do anything in this show.
Okay.
But yeah, actually, since you started the recap, I decided not to stop you. What I meant to say is we have a comment. So, first thing
Oh
is
yeah.
we usually do the comments first. So, Henry from the Patreon from the episode Please Let Me Call You Onisama says, "Isn't it so awesome that the master, Hano, basically handed aim for the top over to his protege, Surumaki? Sorry, I'm not getting names right. And the 2 creations are surely very different, but also equally legendary in my eyes. Diebuster's final scene also does not disappoint in comparison to Gunbuster's conclusion."
I I am not doubting that. I think I figured out the first point that threw me out off on the show. In Gunbuster, it wasn't power came from Topless. In Gunbuster, it was we're gonna do a thing that we have to do. Oh, look what I did. Like, it was more of a side consequence of having to open up to get to the core for that, if we're using that specific example.
I mean, we know where the power comes from in Gunbuster. It was one of the science episodes. It's like two black holes rotating around each other.
Correct. But in this, it's like, oh yeah, these people have this superpower because when they go topless, I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, no. They're just called topless. Like, I think we already had a conversation about, like, they have no top. Not like they don't have a top. They don't have a top.
But the show didn't imply that.
I think it did during one of the science episodes.
During one of the science episodes.
Right,
But you
which
go
is...
through whole periods of time without that, where it's just, yeah, I think that was the first thing that sort of made me go, okay.
I think that the... I don't know if beauty is the word I'm going to use here. I think one of the good parts about this show, or this series, I don't know what I want to call it. Obviously, Gunbuster to Diebuster is a series, but I'm trying to include Gurren Lagann into it, even though it's unrelated, only by the fact that it's only connected
Okay,
by the
so
issue of it being made by Gainax and not actually in the same series. Gurren Lagann's not
so
connected to Diebuster in the same way that Diebuster so far does not seem to be connected to Gunbuster.
I know the franchise.
Well, yeah, I mean these two, but I mean Gurren Lagann's not actually. Gurren Lagann is just inspired by.
Okay.
But I'm just mean to say that I think the great thing about all three of these properties is you can read into them and figure your own things out, right? Like
Got it.
my interpretation of these things is just my interpretation. Until the show gives us something like rigid and defined, then I could be wrong.
Hmm.
Whatever I'm thinking could just be wrong. I'm not trying to force you down a path by saying, no, no, topless are just, this is what it means to be topless. And it's like, I fucking have no idea either. I'm, I'm trying not to drown, same as you are.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and there was also those two twins. We saw the two twins.
Yes.
The two Kabuki twins.
I think they're connected to the monsters somehow.
I doubt it. I mean, we don't know what the monsters are about, but they seem more of a plot thread for the characters, less than big bads to show up at the end.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, because we also had the theory that main character is some sort of prototype robot that's like a miniaturized version of a Buster.
Well, you had that theory. Like I said, this is one of those things where you can come up with your own stuff. Like,
We had that theory. We did.
no, no. Yeah, this is the opposite of it's that whole thing where if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but if we're right, we're right. Except you're doing the opposite.
Yeah.
You're forcing me into a theory that I think is wrong, but we're gonna be wrong.
We'll be wrong together.
No, I'm not going into the. I mean, you might be right. I just don't think you are.
Yep.
Because the name of the episode is what, Resurrection, the legendary Buster machine.
Yep.
What if it's fucking her?
Weird flex, but I think it would make the story interesting.
Well, I mean, I think I said last time, what if it's the actual one from Gunbuster?
I think it will be.
But then that would actually put this way into the future. So, but Jupiter is there. Jupiter can't be there. We
I don't
blew
know.
it up. All right. Well, I guess the only way to learn is by doing. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
it's just $5 a month. But hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
I'll admit I don't know how many moons Saturn has, so...
At least 48.
Well, if this is true, yes.
あれが発掘現場か。思った以上に大規模じゃないか。数万年前の遺跡という話ですが、本当に太陽系の外から宇宙怪獣の包囲を突破してきたんでしょうか。あくまで推測
Tens of thousands of years.
シリウスと呼ばれた異星人のバスターマシンとの説もある。
Oh,
They
never
also
mind. They said
they
it's
also said-
alien.
outside the solar system.
危ないな。
Well, yeah, I mean, if it was the original, it came from outside the solar system. But
Fair
they're
enough.
saying it's alien, though, so...
現在、南ブロックの重力変動は 1.8G。明日の予想最低重力変動は 0.8G。最高は 2.1G。本日よりプラス
I think the problem is that we're unfairly being...
重力変動予報は
We're unfairly pushing the show with the expectation that it's going to tie into the first season. However... What?
Yeah. I don't mind if it doesn't tie into the first season. I just want to know what's going on.
手に出歩かないでください。皆さんは別弁あるまで船内で待機です。
ここまで乗せてやったのに現地ではフラタニティの指揮下に入れという通達なんだ。
Okay. I thought they were wandering to the site, and the site just had them in it. And I was like, wait, what?
奴らに総取りされるんじゃ。そうだとしても我々には逆らえんよ。
I misread what was going on.
Hmm.
I mean, I basically understand what's going on. I don't have that problem. I think I'm just being waylaid by the possibility existing that at some point this is going to tie in to the first season, given that it's a sequel season.
Yeah. So I don't mind if it doesn't tie in. That won't affect it. For
I'm not
me.
saying I mind. I'm saying that I keep expecting it to possibly do, or, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not like, oh god, when is it going to do it? It's just like, I don't know if it is or not, so I don't know if I should be looking for it.
I see what you're saying.
The same thing that's like you looking for trying to figure out what the show is, but looking for connections. Because I don't want to just write it off and then suddenly it happens, right?
Yeah.
'Cause the-
So in Gunbuster, we knew what was happening.
Well, we found out by like episode 4.
The aliens were trying. Sorry, Diebuster. Hold on, I'm getting mixed up. I think. Either way.
Gunbuster was the first one, Diebuster the second one,
Thank you.
Die for 2 in German
So in Gunbuster, we knew what was happening
by the 4th episode.
by the 4th episode, and it was a clear like, eradicate humans, birth and sons. Okay. Here we don't know
作戦は順調
the reason.
さあね。
例によって双子の秘密主義。私たちただの用心棒ですから。タイタン変動重力源が目を覚ましそうってこと？
噂ですよ。噂。
その正体が伝説のバスターマシンっていうのも？
そう。データ消失の一桁台って。
So the fact that they said it was an alien buster machine threw me off.
何それ？
Yeah. Did they also say that it's gonna form
噂。
the Gunbuster?
モテモテって話。
Mm,
最近姫のスコアがお伸びになっ
it
て。
could just be words.
ドジっ子さんのおかげ。
まあ、そう考えれば双子の興味。
Everything's so fucking vague that I'm just like not taking anything at face value. I'm just trying to put the overall picture
Yeah.
together.
トップレスだ。ノノの世話になったことなんてない。
Well, that's classic Gunbuster, though.
Yep.
The I don't need her. I mean, so far the biggest takeaway I've gotten has been that I think you pointed out before, the monsters are encircling the solar system.
Mm-hmm. All right.
It's the twins.
発掘委員長、この匂い、何の料理？
あら、ニコラス。タイタンガにはお嫌い？
I mean, not as bad as I expected. That was either going to be monster or people. Just crab.
Uh-huh. That's not your Buster mission. Why are you trying to...
Also, Gunbuster landed back on Earth, so I don't know how this could even possibly be that one.
Neither do I.
あの地形全体がおびただしい数の宇宙怪獣の死骸でできていたから、かつてこのタイタンで変動重力源を葬るため何千何万という宇宙怪獣が特攻した、その痕跡なの。そしてそれでもまだ死んではいない。定期的に自重を変化させ、
It's a pretty cool backstory for a mysterious space object.
True.
あれが目覚めれば皆の期待に応えてくれる。どれほどの宇宙怪獣が襲ってきてももう恐れることはない。赤い天の川も越えて太陽系の外、光り輝く星々の世界にだってこの手が届く。
だけど僕には時間がない。
If she's going down there solo, it doesn't make sense that it needs two pilots.
作業に邪魔な木星急行を止めてもらったんじゃない。私たちの本当の年齢を知っているのでしょう。そしてその秘密も。
Okay, so they're vampires, I guess.
Maybe.
I want to say that was a spiral.
Yep. You just woke everybody up.
最高機密の発掘現場に無許可で侵入した。追放されるには十分すぎる理由ね。
Guessing maybe we missed it that the twins are the leaders of the Foundation?
Maybe?
Well, I mean, if they are super incredibly old and everything, they would just, like, be the vampire trope.
でも諦めなさい。あなたには荷が重すぎる。でもね、いいこと教えてあげる。これバスターマシン。20年も前、第二次カイパーベルト海戦で沈んだと思われていた機体よ。発見されたのは冥王星。今は太陽系の反対側。少し遠いけどいかが？あなたのものにすればどうかしら。期待しているわ。あなたにはきっと私たちを助ける力がある。
So not even the big mysterious one. We're going to one that from 20 years ago.
Hmm.
罰なんだろ。バカなやつ。ノノは自分から行くんだよ。姫のせいじゃないの。
行きたきゃ行けばいいさ。
タイタンに来てからバスターマシンたちの様子。
And yeah, it's...
なんかピリピリして。
This could very well be a wild goose chase.
ディスヌフのことなら何でも知ってる。さすがナンバーワントップレス。本当諦めちゃったんだ。ちょっと残念。でもバスターマシンはああいう子に力を貸すのかもしれないよ。努力とか根性じゃ奇跡は起こらない。アヒルは飛びたくても飛べない。
Hardworking guts.
No, she literally just said the opposite.
カシオみたいなこと言うね。
I know.
Yeah, but you laughed like it was a good thing. Ah, good old space clock.
やっぱ女は怖えな。サバ読んでるって当たりつけたらあっという間にこんな僻地に飛ばされちまった。マジ怖えよ、あの秘密サークル。まあでもそのおかげでトラントロワか。
If only I spoke French.
お姉様しばらくお暇をいただきます。お掃除当番お姉様一人でもできますよね。燃えるゴミは火曜と金曜、それから歯磨きは5分以上。朝晩ちゃんとしなきゃダメですよ。
Don't forget to brush your teeth.
ノノにはバスターマシンが必要なのです。なぜならばノノリリになんてならなくていいよ。ここにいろ。
Also, the fact we're still burning trash.
Yep.
今月の双子座は月末に大きな転機あり、日頃の積み重ねがものを言う。うまくいくわよね。当たり前じゃない。
Okay.
お姉様のこと、今のノノにはとても遠くに感じるのです。だからお姉様に近づくためにノノは。
Well, I mean, if there's not another topless out there. However, if it's all busted up, then I also don't know how she's gonna.
これはヒバリ。
Yeah.
青空高く飛んでずっとさえずり続けるんだ。声は聞こえるんだけどなかなか見つけられなくてさ、つい首が痛くなるまで見上げて探しちゃうんだ。それ見たいです。見たい見たい見たい見たい。
なんでわしだけ赤坊やねん。パンツかぶっとるで。ほんでろんで。
先月の経済達成指数は
Okay.
Can't remember. Have we seen Earth?
No, because we started on Mars, right?
Yeah. And then went to Jupiter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just inefficient doing laundry every day.
Depends on how many chances of clothes you have.
Yeah.
Unmanned spaceport.
ノノはやっとここまで来ました。もうすぐです。
監視対象者の目的地到着を確認。各バスターマシンの配置完了。
中央シャフト付近の重力変動値、現在安定中。
2号4号シャフト安定。
So she's the only one that's away when we do this.
セーフリーペアデントの排除成功。タイムカウントスタートします。2、3。
蘇生術式開始。
こんな赤い山の川が溢れ出しました。
Yeah, I thought it was weird that they called the Milky Way red, but I had no idea what it meant. I guess the entire Milky Way is monsters now.
That's a thing.
If the twins are somehow connected to the monsters, this could be according to plan.
すごいな。前転から殺到してくる。
双子の言う通り、奴らはそれほど恐れてるってこと。マジすげえや。体感変動重力源の力、本物だ。第一波、来ますわよ。作戦通り。
So it's just the thing that happened before, where they all dive into the gravity well to try and bury the thing, as they described.
Okay.
That's what it looks like anyway.
交戦中の宇宙怪獣の約半数が離脱。予測進路は冥王星方面。
Well, that doesn't make sense,
本当に助かりました。
since Pluto's on the opposite side of the solar system than the thing.
Yeah.
それよりこんなとこまでよく来たな。
ノノにはバスターマシンが必要なんです。お姉様に認めてほしい。そうでなきゃノノは。
Kids, if Onisama doesn't love you for you, you don't need to go to Pluto to get a crazy buster machine. Just get a different Onisama.
なんでここに。
計画通り半分はロボコに食いついてくれた。これでこいつを手なずける時間が稼げる。
Well, there's proof that you're wrong.
一つで居続けるためにトップレスが必要なの。それを失うわけにはいかない。来たわ。答えてくれた。私たちの呼びかけに。
I'm pretty sure you're dead.
上昇。
クレフシン発行。肉が
Something like that.
この光、まさか。
キリがないですわ。蘇生作業はまだなの？
双子の奴ら、何もたついてんだよ。
続いて第6波。その後方第7波から13波。レーダーが真っ白だ。こんなの防ぎようがない。ご苦労様。皆のおかげ。
Or not. I assumed it was like an energy weapon being pointed up at them. Like a self-defense thing.
あと少し。あのクレー
Okay.
トラントロワさえあれば。
やります。バスターマシンで戦います。
そうじゃない。
It's the music.
Yep. This is looking more like the original monster.
I was literally just thinking that. Like the first one we fought in episode 4. Or the first big one.
Yeah.
異星人のバスターマシン。
Or maybe not. Oh, fuck.
なんだよ。これ北半球の宇宙怪獣が一撃で。
I mean, what the fuck is it? Its shot sounded like a human scream.
1万年以上生き続けたトップレスがついに呼びかけに応えてくれたのよ。
What?
肉だったのか。
Okay, I was right. They were eating monster. Titan crab was just some thing that I just didn't pick up on.
Uh-huh.
Which would imply that if that was one of the original monsters, that the topless are just like some sort of genetic thing put into people from the monsters. Or the people did to themselves, rather.
Yeah.
今の君に本当に必要なものなのか。僕にはそう思えないし、ラルクだって。
そんなに見たいなら連れてくよ。あれ うちに友達呼ぶの初めてかな。
僕らにはバスターマシンしかない。その力を失えば生きる価値さえ見つけられないんだ。ノノリリってやつだってきっとそうさ。
いえ、違います。
僕はもう自分をごまかしたくない。
僕はまだトップレスだ。トラントロワは僕が動かす。
Okay.
ダメじゃん。
残存している宇宙怪獣軍はタイタンの裏側に集結中です。
タイタン変動重力源は健在。
走行に損傷は認められません。
重力変動なおも上昇中。
あんなのがトップレスなんて。
It's the other one.
そうよ。
The old monsters, they didn't open a mouth and have a big beam attack thing, so I don't...
Yeah.
嫌な宇宙怪獣どもを私たちの世界から一掃して。変動重力源がアクセスコードを全て拒否。制御不能。
You are the unpleasant space monsters to them.
Yeah, I said they were dead. I was just wrong by time.
Technically, it did follow their orders.
Yeah, it's way stronger than anything we've seen before. Well, not anything. In this show, not in Gunbuster, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if that was actually one of the old space monsters, what are the other monsters?
Yep.
Although, if the topless are that way because they've been ingesting the space monster and these space monsters are trying to kill the other one, then they'd be going after the topless and the whole Foundation specifically because they've got that genetic material in them.
Mm-hmm.
But of course she wouldn't have that material though because she's a robot.
Yes.
Assumedly.
What the? What in the Sailor Moon eating a black hole is happening here?
I mean, obviously she unlocked the code for whatever she was doing. If you looked at her hands had like readouts of shit moving across it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna imagine she remembered who she really was. You gotta be doing the pose.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a 0-2 situation. That'll carry over. Buster Legion.
Jeez.
Okay, so that's what the space monsters really were.
Yeah. They were trying to get to her. Those are some wild pants.
This is episode 4.
Okay.
That planet was fucked already. Doesn't matter. Moon.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Wonder how many of the pilots are survived. Seen like what?
Probably
3 of them.
Probably a convenient amount.
Okay, not a 0-2 situation. And obviously that's the one that's in the overlay that people were like, this might be a spoiler. Like, I don't know the context. Context is king when it comes to spoilers.
It's true. See, that answered some questions.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I'm on board now. Assuming that we're right, like, I think this all hinges on us being right about that being one of the old school monsters. Now, it could just be an unrelated monster in this new world, right? That we could be completely unconnected. God, this ending is louder than the show. If it's just an unrelated monster, and I think it might just be an unrelated monster, it would be cool if it was one of the old school ones, tied all together. You know, thousands of years thing that they're talking about. But because the old ones didn't, like, you know, open up and roar and become like tremors.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it being the answer being yes to both.
I'm not. Should only be yes to one.
Because so if
should be binary.
It could still be one of the old school monsters, but they just didn't update on their abilities.
I think that would be not worse. I just don't think that would be good. Specifically because they set it up as being like trapped in a gravity well and then surrounded by all the other monsters that like try to stop it. So evolution would be just a weird thing to do in that scenario. Yeah, I guess we have to be introduced to the primary antagonist.
Yeah.
Because our antagonist so far, unless whatever the hell was on Mars was not one of the Buster Legion, because those do specifically look different. Those seem to be more like, I guess, whatever was flying around the solar system. I can't remember what those looked like last episode.
I don't know.
Although I guess specifically these were from the red Milky Way, which implies that everything outside of the solar system, which so maybe the monsters that are already here in the system aren't those.
Maybe.
But if that was like, I don't know, the fact that you say, oh, this thing is thousands of years old, it's stuck in a gravity well, surrounded by all these other monsters that are trying to keep it in place, that makes it feel like that's the thing. So where does something else come from in the next 2 episodes?
It could be a case where it's like like after this they end up having to deal with the mother of like the hive.
That's what I'm saying is that this one was locked down for 10,000 thousands of years. So the mother appearing
Yes.
out of anywhere wouldn't make sense because like what the fuck has it been doing for thousands of years?
I don't know.
You've separated your first big bad by thousands of years of time. You're gonna have to like do it again, right? That or just time travel or something. I don't know.
Time travel is a valid answer within this within this universe.
I don't know. I don't know. We haven't introduced that concept. Because time dilation is different than time travel, right? People aren't going to
Well,
come from the
I'm
past.
so that's what I meant by time travel.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm actively calling it out as different. Like we can't go back in time to fight the monsters because we haven't introduced that as a thing. Like like one of the very first things we did, or not the very first, maybe episode 2 we did it. Introduced that in Gunbuster. If the
Yeah.
idea that traveling fast slows down time for you. I don't know. I don't know. This has raised. I think I'm in your space now of just having a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like this answered a bunch of questions, and I think I'm solid now on what's happening and where we're at and everything. But moving forwards, I don't know where you move forwards from here. There's no clear defined path in front of us.
I agree with that.
I had
See,
another thought. I can't think of what it was.
I'm fine with the lack of clear defined path only because I was in a position before where I was going, what are we trying to set up? I didn't know what the neutral point we were going to was. And now I know.
I suppose my one gripe with this episode is that I do not know the characters well enough. And I don't mean Nono and Onisama.
Yep.
By the way, yes, I know she has a name. It's like Talak or something like that. I'm just gonna call her Onisama because it's easier for me. I know those two, but there is like a group of 10 characters that I'm supposed to know because I know I'm supposed to know them by the way that they're showing off their deaths and they're crying about them, and it's like I couldn't tell you one of their names. So, yeah, I didn't get enough time spent with any of them to really know them. I know the twins most, but not the twins. The twins and that other girl from last episode.
Yeah.
The other ones were just like shower scene people. You know, it's
Well, like you say you know the twins most, but what did we ever see of them other than mysterious talking and eating food?
They were setting stuff up last episode. What's his name was making deals with them.
That's the
And then
mysterious talking.
they've been well. I mean, it's the fact that they were apparently eating bits of the monster kind of sets up the whole theory about the topless being you know, sorry, my brain
I'll
is
give him
like
that.
trying to get. It's like all the words coming down are shitting down the back of my throat from my brain, and not coming out my mouth the right way. Brain
It
diarrhea.
happens. So
Yeah.
I'll give them that. They had good setup. They had good theory craft. Possibilities come from it, but I see the twins as just a narrative tool, not characters.
I'd say they were characters. We know that they had an attachment to one another, and that was more than twins should have. And then they clearly cared about each other in the end. As one dies and the other one is just like in shock, watching them die, saying their name, whatever it was. I mean, they were obviously a narrative tool. I just think that they were more than that, or at least they were attempting to be more than that.
I'll agree with the attempt.
Yeah.
I think they did. I think there was too much fighting in the first 4 episodes.
3.
For people to actually latch onto the characters, but in the same way.
Well, I mean, we didn't even get introduced to any of them until the second episode. So we had the second episode to try and know people, and then the third episode was more about that one girl.
Yep.
So she survived. So at the very least, I guess the second episode was more about the guy, or at least the relationship between him and Onisama.
I don't even know if I could act it. To me, the second episode was more about the Busters.
Well, yeah, but I mean, of the non-2 main characters, Onisama and Nono, he is the one that gets the screen time because we see Onisama like hugging on him, giving us the impression that she's got a thing for him, and apparently, if we're taking it, what she says this episode. I've never invited anyone home before. That's the closest connection she has to anybody outside of Nono now. So
she's never invited a friend home.
Right, I just mean that we see her hugging up on him in episode 2, and she barely even lets anybody near her. So that's got to be like the closest relationship we see her have outside of Nono.
It's definitely something to take note of.
Well, any final thoughts here before we head into the science learning bit?
No, I think it's been clearly stated.
All right, well, let's go learn something or be spoiled.
One of the two.
帰ってきた。トップを狙え科学講座。
Okay.
どうも。バスターマシン
Oh, hey.
パイロット。
Gunbuster.
同じく2号機3号機パイロット天野改め太田和美です。
In new animation form. So an update from their Apple.
帰ってくるとは思いもしませんでした。テレビの向こうの大きいお友達、元気にしてたかな。半分くらいもう寿命が来ちゃったんじゃない？
It's been 20-something years
something
between this and old original Gunbuster.
軌道ロープウェイについてです。落ち着きなさい、ノリコ。ごめんなさい。軌道ロープウェイは私がハワイの地上基地から乗った乗り物ね。宇宙ステーションのメリディアンスターまで行くのに使ったんでしたっけ？
Rope into space, which was weird.
すごいですね。私が沖上にいた頃はシャトルに乗って宇宙に登ったのに、今やロープウェイでのんびり空まで上がれるんですもんね。あのままの速度だと時間はものすごくかかるけどね。そうなんですか？静止衛星軌道は高度36000。
That's not that long based off where you're going.
だから大気が薄くなったあたりからどんどん加速していくの。中間地点で時速6万キロ以上まで加速してから今度は減速していくのよ。なるほど。はじめちょろちょろ中パッパなわけですね。それはお米の炊き方でしょ。でもなんで高度3万6000キロまで登らないといけないんですか？
このバカモン
が！ that Kochi.
コーチ、あなた。
タカヤ、お前はそんなことも知らんのか？どうやって沖上卒業したんだまったく。
いやほら、なんか宇宙に出てる間に時間が過ぎちゃってたからどさくさで。
言い訳するな。
はい、すいません、コーチ。
I love
ある
this.
天体の周りを周回する天体の公転速度は2体間の質量比と距離によって変わるの。簡単に言ってしまうと、地球の場合、
They made
高
the
度3万
ultimate.
6000キロで周回する人工衛星の公転速度は
That's
地
a
球の自転
space
速度
weapon.
と同じになるのよ。
はあ。
これを地
Yeah,
上
it's
か
a
ら
space
見たら、
elevator.
この人工衛星はずっと同じ場所に止まってい
No,
る
if
よ
you
うに
had
見
to,
えるわ
you
け。 だから静止
if
衛
you
星っていうの
severed
よ。
the ropes or the connections.
I'll have a conversation with you about that after, because there's a
そういう
novel
こ
series
と。
that I love that
そ
does
してこの
exactly what
静
you're
止衛
talking
星か
about.
ら地上に紐を垂らしていくと軌道エレベーターが出来上が
Oh,
るん
it's
だ。
notable. Or
ただし通常の軌道エレベーターは赤道上にしか建築できないわ。
なんでですか？
だって赤道から離れてしまうとケーブルが地面に対して垂直にはならないでしょ。
でもハワイから出てるロープウェイは
軌道ロープウェイのケーブルにはマイクロブラックホールを練り込んだ重力制御繊維が使われてい
these
るの
fucking
よ。
black holes.
それが重力バランスを調整し、
That makes it an even better
地球
weapon.
上のどこからでも赤道上を通っている中心のエレベーターに接続できるの。今沖縄からも伸ばす計画が進んでいるそうよ。
重力まで操るなんて人類の科学力はすごいですね。でもそこまでできるなら反重力でふわーっと浮いたりは。
バカモン！反重力でふわっとはなんだ？ふわっとはそんな努力も根性もないことばかり考えていてどうする？
Like she goes into adoration pose there on the side.
お前はいつまで経っても進
Yeah.
歩がない。
反省しますってよく考えたらコーチはお亡くなりになったんじゃ。
なお、この映像は私の死後、お前たちがおそらく今まで通り科学講座をやっていると考え収録したものである。お前たちが銀河中心殴り込み艦隊とともに奮戦することを祈っているぞ。
録画って。
さすがだわあなた。突っ込むタイミングもバッチリよ。
何事も努力と根性だ。
そんな。
Said the thing.
まったね。
I mean, they didn't have to have him dead in the science thing. He was dead, because we had 6 science episodes in the original Gunbuster, and in the last one he was in there, but he'd already died in the show, so, and he wasn't dead in the science thing.
You're not wrong.
I guess technically they're referring to something that happened in episode 6, whereas I don't think they referred to specifically episode 6 stuff in the 6th one. I don't remember.
Neither do I.
But they're dating when it happened, so I guess that they have to. Yeah, because he would be long dead by episode 6 when that happened. So the fact they're referring to an event in that thing means that he would have to be dead in this timeline of the science thing. Anyway, what I was going to say was the Mars trilogy, Red Mars, Blue Mars, Green Mars, they use a space elevator that they basically connect part of the planet to one of Mars's, they're almost like asteroid-size moons, and basically make a spaceport there. But during one of the rebellions, because Mars has like 2 rebellions against Earth in the timeline of the stories, they destroy the top of the space elevator, or rather the connection it has to the moon, so the moon goes, flies off into deep space. But then the giant ass space elevator cable just follows the rotation of the planet and, whips back down into the planet at massive speeds. So it kind of cuts a line across Mars, and since it's longer than Mars is wide, it kind of comes around for like half of a second time, destroying any city in its path, including the city obviously built around the base of the cable.
That's fun.
Well, because you know that the whole thing about the space elevator is that the tether has to be super strong to be able to withstand the force being pulled, which means it has to be stronger than any currently known material, or any currently known highly reproducible material.
Yes.
Which means that it would be well within its ability to go through all that force to whip down on the planet again.
Yes, because it would require the tensile strength of things that are not tensile.
So,
which is yeah.
So yeah, that when you're calling it a weapon, that's the only thing I could think of is that how they literally used it as a weapon in their revolt during that book series.
Yeah, but especially since it has a black hole, like everything's powered by black holes. If you figured out the way to properly do it, you are effectively throwing a black hole at somebody.
I think the problem herein is it's the difference between technologies, right? It's like if I was a caveman and you were a space marine, right? And then a normal United States Marine came up between us, and I was like, "Oh God, that guy's gun is so amazing," and you're still here as the Space Marine, right? We're talking about. Oh, I mean, you're talking about. Oh, you'd have an amazing weapon there, and it's like, yeah, but you remember they built a weapon that can like destroy billions of space monsters across like an entire solar system in like one shot. They've already got stronger weapons than the thing you're marveling about. In this case, we're the cavemen, and we're looking at this space elevator that could be a weapon, and they've got space marines.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you could really throw a rock really hard at somebody, but they've already got black holes. Technically, they can just throw the black holes at people, or
That's messed up weaponry. At that point, that's just.
is it? I mean,
a
technically,
problem.
it was the main two weapons of the last series. We did a black
Yeah.
hole on a solar system, and then we did a black hole on the galaxy.
And that was still messed up.
Well, it messed up the galaxy, I guess. I mean, if this show doesn't take place like thousands of years after all of that, then I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. Other than I guess we set up a whole new universe. And maybe that's look, they say that the ending of this is going to be on par with or better than Gunbuster, and I know that didn't play well for you. It played well for me. So I have at least expectations there. But I don't know, maybe crossover?
Crossover would be cool. Again, it was a very fine line that it crossed over for it to not play well for me, so I think there's a good chance it'll play well.
I will say if it is a crossover, I may have ruined a little bit for myself. Not like spoilers or anything, but watching this, the science episode where our characters came back, is like I got to see them again. So I'm already like emotionally available for that. Whereas if it happened at the end of the series and having not seen them for the weeks that we watched it together, like it's gonna be less of a shock now if it happens because I've just seen them again or I've heard them again, seen their interactions again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want to throw out there?
No, nothing else.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna go wrap this one up here. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Justin. We have been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?